Good evening, members of the Super Horror family and esteemed guest. I'm Eddie, your faithful guide through the uncharted darkness, and you're tuned in to Whispers in the Dark. Tonight, we have a special episode for you, one that echoes the ancient sands of time and unravels the shroud of a forgotten pharaoh. In light of the upcoming Mother's Day, our archaeologist of the abyss, Papa Bones, has written a special story that's sure to make you hold your mommies close. Because tonight, we're talking about mummies. Yes, you heard right. We're delving into a tale of a powerful pharaoh, a cursed necklace, and the brave archaeologist who dared to unveil the secrets of the past. So dim the lights, lean in close, and listen as we share the tale of the mummy's curse, uncovering the secrets of Akhenra. Dr. Sarah Mitchell adjusted her hat and wiped the sweat from her brow. The blazing Egyptian sun had been beating on her all day. But that didn't deter her resolve. She'd been on the trail of a forgotten pharaoh's tomb for months. Most people considered the tomb of Pharaoh Akhenra to be a myth. Dr. Sarah, as she had everyone call her, disagreed, and her research led her to believe that she was finally close. Her team of archaeologists had been digging tirelessly for weeks. A few of them left to pursue other opportunities, as they so eloquently put it. The ones that remained were not the tip of the academic spear. Sarah could sense that they were on the verge of finding other opportunities as well. Some of them maybe even Mick opportunities. At a minimum, this would be legendary no matter the outcome. If a monumental discovery was made, Dr. Sarah would be remembered as that brilliant doctor that persevered with a collection of archaeology minor 3.0 GPA diggers. And if she failed, they would probably say she was that loony doc that dragged those kids into the wilderness and wasted any and all grant money on recreational pharmaceuticals. To be clear, there weren't any unscripted meds on site, at least not to Dr. Sarah's knowledge. The air was heavy, and the workers' chatter was filled with wishes for home. Suddenly, a young archaeologist named James called out from the depths of the dig site. "Dr. Sarah, I think we found something." Sarah rushed over to where James was crouched, carefully brushing away the sand and dirt from an ancient stone doorway. As the dust was cleared away, intricate hieroglyphs and carvings came into view. Sarah's heart raced as she recognized the symbols that indicated they had discovered the entrance to the lost tomb. Pharaoh Akhenra was a mysterious and enigmatic ruler whose existence had been debated among archaeologists for, well, forever, until today. Until right now, even. Dr. Sarah's heart beat with such fury and power she could barely stand. The discovery awakened the previously drained archaeologist, and the only Mick opportunities spoken of after that involved Big Macs, apple pies, and sundaes. The team worked tirelessly to excavate the entrance, and soon they found themselves in a dimly lit chamber adorned with beautiful murals and artifacts. At the center of the room was a sarcophagus, its stone surface intricately carved with the likeness of a pharaoh wearing a magnificent necklace. Sarah approached the sarcophagus cautiously, her heart still pounding in her chest. Along with the stories of Akhenra, there were warnings about curses and witchcraft. But most pharaohs were surrounded by similar lore, and it wouldn't be very doctor of her to heed these superstitious warnings anyway. She had the lid of the sarcophagus opened and looked in. There he was, Pharaoh Akhenra. She gently traced the necklace with her fingers and began to feel a strange, inexplicable sense of dread. She was nauseous, lightheaded. She stumbled back. James managed to catch her. "Hey, are you okay? We can put this on hold for a minute, get you a little fresh air, maybe some water. It's a big day for you." Dr. Sarah refused. "Just help me stand. Yes, I'm probably slightly dehydrated, but no more than any other day. It's just excitement." James helped prop up Dr. Sarah to allow her to continue. The necklace appeared to be made of solid gold and adorned with precious gemstones, but the main one was strange. At first, Dr. Sarah thought it was just a red stone, maybe a garnet or a ruby. but there was something eerie about it. When she shined her flashlight at it, it didn't reflect the light the way either of those stones would be expected to. Why? Despite her reservations, she knew she needed to examine the artifact more closely. However, Dr. Sarah could hardly stand now. She had James walk her out and instructed the other archaeologists to carefully remove the necklace from the mummy's neck and bring it to the on-site lab so the stones could be examined under microscope. The necklace was brought to the on-site lab and carefully placed under the microscope by Alice. She was chosen because she was both extremely gentle and sure-footed. She was sure Dr. Sarah would want to be the first to examine the stones, but she was so excited and couldn't help herself. As she peeked through the microscope, she suddenly saw horrifying images flash before her eyes. Shadowy figures, monstrous creatures, and scenes of unspeakable violence. Panicking, Alice stumbled over backwards, knocking over shelves of delicate artifacts that shattered on the ground. And in one terrible motion, Alice fell and was impaled by several larger broken artifacts. Everyone ran into the on-site lab and saw Alice there, blood pouring from her wounds. After Alice's accident, the team was on edge. The next morning, everyone reported having vivid nightmares. And then more accidents happened. First, a technician broke his leg after seeing a nightmarish creature lunging at him. Then an assistant accidentally sliced her hand open after a terrifying vision of snakes slithering across her workspace. Dr. Sarah was not immune to these illusions. Every time she closed her eyes, she could see Alice, cut up from the artifacts, approaching her, wearing that necklace. She gathered the remaining team members to discuss what was going on. The group was terrified. Everyone moved slow and with intention, afraid of being surprised by a hallucination and getting injured or worse. When they were all there, Dr. Sarah spoke. "We need to get a handle on what's going on. We should test the tomb for hallucination-inducing mold or fungus." "Not everyone went in, but everyone is seeing things," replied James. "We need to consider the possibility of the curse." "James, those warnings are so generic. It's not a curse." "Everyone said there was no Akhenra. And there is Akhenra." "You don't know." James' words trailed off as he froze, looking just beyond Dr. Sarah. James. But James didn't acknowledge Dr. Sarah at all. He continued staring behind the doctor, while slowly standing up. James, there's nothing there, James." It was like he couldn't hear her at all. He began breathing rapidly and sweating profusely. "James, don't move." No matter what Dr. Sarah shouted, James couldn't hear her. James took off running. Dr. Sarah followed after him and managed to wrestle him to the ground. James screamed and started hitting Dr. Sarah. She tried to defend herself, but in the scuffle, James somehow got on top of her. While still screaming, he grabbed a rock and raised it high above his head, preparing to bring it down on a terrified Dr. Sarah. She covered her face with her arms and squinted her eyes when a few others from the group ran into James, knocking him to the ground. Dr. Sarah was roughed up badly. The left side of her face was bruised and swollen, and her lip was busted. She had never been so afraid in her entire life. The crew watched silently as she blinked out a few tears and sat up. "We've taken more than enough photos. In case we've disturbed something, we're going to put the necklace back. We're going back to the university, where we can research anything and everything we can find out about this curse. Also, while we're gone, we'll have the area tested for molds, fungus, or anything else that can cause hallucinations. Leave everything here. After we research any possible curses and the test results say it's safe to enter the tomb, we'll be back." As quickly as the words came out of Dr. Sarah's mouth, an assistant took the necklace and put it back on Akhenra. The nightmare was over. For now. With rare exception, people only bury two things: the dead and seeds. Seeds that mature and grow. So which of those do you think that necklace they buried is? Could it be the seed of a terrifying curse, lying in wait, ready to bloom into a terror beyond our wildest imaginations? This tale is far from over, my friends. So make sure you've got that notification bell ringing loud and clear, so you won't miss out when part 2 comes out later this week. We've got more bone-chilling secrets to unravel, more shadows to peer into, and more whispers to decode in the dark. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself, because you are special. And I hope you sleep well. But on this show, sweet dreams are not guaranteed. Good night.